What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Hit the join button and become a member. Wow! Well, members get exclusive content. Hit the bell icon on my channel so that you'll receive a notification every time that I drop a video, and you can go and check the video out. Let's get into it. I've been telling you I was going to do the story on Sonya Massey, the beautiful black woman who was unalived by the white supremacist cop Sean Grayson on July 6th. I'm going to get into the story now. Essentially going to do a reaction to a video that I've seen that sort of explains it in depth and gives some updates on his character, Sean Grayson. Before I do that and get into it, you all need to understand the history of the police force here in America. I'm sure some of you already understand this. And by understanding this, you would then understand why the police unalive black people brutally who are unarmed. It is because the police force is derived from slave patrols. In 1704 in South Carolina, slave patrols began. Slave patrols were formed to intimidate, capture, control, and brutalize black people, runaway slaves. They were designed to keep black people as property. The slave patrols were so bad at one point that the white slave owners began to file charges against some slave owners or against some slave patrols for beating their property so bad that, or their so-called property, the black man or woman, that he or she was unable to work the next day. So these so-called slave masters begin to get outraged at these slave patrols for beating their human property to the point that they couldn't work and make their money for them the next day. That's the only reason that they were upset with them. And so I'll do it an in-depth video, if you all like, on slave patrols and some of their functions and designs, some of their motivations and how they were put together and why, to keep so-called slaves in control and in fear. After the 13th Amendment and after the Civil War, the so-called slave patrol turned into the police force. The first police force being like in Boston in 1886. The first time you saw uniformed police, but they were former slave patrols. And half of them came from the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. And now you begin to understand why the police do the things that they do. The police force are former slave patrols who brutalized black people, who unalived black people, who arrested black people to protect white people and protect white property. This goes on today inside of these police forces. Nothing has changed. Their job, their function is to keep black men in check, brutalize them, keep them in fear, control them, return them to the damn plantation, protect white people, white interests, and white property at all costs. There's no surprise that a black life means nothing to a white officer. It's the institution. The police force was built on racism and slave patrol. Anton Daniels, a YouTuber, did a video, I believe yesterday. I'm going to have to do a reaction to it, to where he's somewhat supporting the police and the black woman gets on him. But he keeps his stance. He's pro-police. Says that it's just a bad apple or two. Essentially that the police force is not racist. But he doesn't understand the history of these white supremacists, the history of America, and why it is so important to uphold the tenets of white supremacy here in this country. The police force was designed to do just that. So when you see them unaliving a black child, do not be surprised. They're doing what they were put there to do as former slave patrols, to brutalize and unalive young and older black people, to instill fear in the entire black community. So when Sonya Massey, a 36-year-old black woman with no criminal history, calls the police to her home for help because she believes that an intruder was lurking, and she comes up unalived brutally on camera, don't be surprised by that. Understand why something like that would happen. Let's get into it. It's crazy. But we're going to get into the Sonya Massey video, and I'm going to react to it somewhat, but you guys already know the story. You know what happened. You know by now what transpired with this sicko.
Today, we have an important update on the Sonya Massey shooting case. For those who may not know, Sonya Massey was shot under very troubling circumstances. Initially, when Sonya Massey called the police to report a possible intruder at her home, she was understandably scared and needed help. When the police arrived, instead of finding the intruder, police officer Sean Grayson shot Sonya. Shockingly, the police initially reported that her injuries were self-inflicted. This caused a lot of confusion and anger within the community, as many people who knew Sonya couldn't believe.
Hold on, what the hell? So the police initially said that her wounds were self-inflicted. The police are known for lying, beating you up, and then charging you with assault. They said that George Floyd had died for some other reason at first. They always doctor the paperwork. They're corrupt. For the most part, they're corrupt. I'm not anti-police. Not pro-police either. I'm just pro the truth. I just want the truth and want the truth to be known. They are a gang, a corrupt gang, designed, built, and put together to keep blacks in their place and to brutalize us. The man shot her in the face 3 times. And then initially said that she shot herself, as if we're not going to find out that he's the one that did it. But his body camera was off. And apparently he didn't know that his partner's body camera was on. So he lies and says she shot herself 3 times. Sick people, man.
Believe she would harm herself.
She called for help and ended up dead. She was shot seconds after police had given her permission to remove a pot of boiling water from the stove. The officer then drew his gun, causing her to duck for cover. She was shot 3 times in her own home. Now her family is demanding to know why the deputy who pulled the trigger was hired in the first place. His personnel file revealed a troubling employment history and past DUI charges. I am joined now by Sonya's son, Malachi, and civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who is representing the Massey family. Thank you both for coming in this morning. I know, Malachi, that you are heartbroken. Can you tell me first how you found out that your mother had been shot and killed?
So basically, I take my dad to work at like 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever. So I was taking him to work. I came home, then I was getting back in the bed. And as soon as I had like woke up, I mean, not even woke up, I'm sorry. As soon as I was like finna go back to sleep, I got a call, and it was like a random number. I didn't know who it was, but I answered it. And that's when they said, your mother has been shot, and it came out her neck. And it went through her eye, and it came out her neck. And they just was saying somebody. That's all they, like, I don't know why they kept on saying somebody shot her. And I said who, and they wouldn't tell me who. I'm like, who? And they just said somebody. And then next thing you know, I get up. I wasn't like even thinking. I was like, I got to get to my grandma's house. And then I told my grandma what happened, and she was just in disbelief. Just like me, I didn't want to believe it. And then we didn't find out that it was a police officer until a day after, too. That's the thing. So we were just left clueless.
The shooter, Sean Grayson, has now come forward with a statement. He claims that he feared for his life, which led to the shooting. This is a significant development in the case, as it contradicts the initial police reports.
You have that stack right there, maybe?
1 second.
Check on her.
Let me get this.
No, we don't need a fire while we're here.
Right. Okay. Let me see. Okay.
All right.
Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
I rebuke you in the name of
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking top! Drop the
With Sean Grayson.
Okay. So, excuse me. As you can see, the video is upsetting. And as you can see, the officer, Sean Grayson, a white supremacist, he tells Sonya to go turn off the boiling hot water. Now, she called the police, as I said, as you all know, because she thought there was an intruder there. She's not a criminal. She's not a threat. The hot water is not a threat to him or his partner. She's not the criminal. She called thinking that there was a criminal around her. But okay. He says go turn off the hot water because we don't want a fire in here. Okay. She goes to turn off the hot water as you asked her to, as you instructed her to do. She wasn't thinking about the hot water. She was sitting right there on the couch. You told her to go turn off the hot water. And then she goes over there and turns it off. You can see her turning it off. And then he tells her to put it down, the hot water. And she says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Satan, I rebuke you. She said it twice. And he said, what the F you say? I'll shoot you in the fucking face. Just because she said, Satan, I rebuke you, she knew that he was Satan. She knew that she had Satan in her home. She felt it. And so she tried to rebuke him. And you can see him move around the counter for a clear shot. That's all. He was moving around to get a clear shot at her head, to put 3 in her head like he did. And you can also see in the video, I'm going to show closer footage, where she kneels down, says sorry. She says sorry, please, sorry, in fear for her life as he's pointing his weapon at her head. And she drops the hot pot of water. She puts it down. All she has in her hands when he shoots her are 2 mittens. The 2 mittens that she had to grab the boiling hot water with. That's it. That's what she had in her hand. She didn't have any water. She wasn't throwing it at him like someone said in the comments before last night on my live. No, she wasn't throwing the water at him. She had set the hot water down. She didn't even have it in her hands anymore. And he still shot her. Why? Because he's a white supremacist hired to brutally unalive black people, in keeping with the history of the police force and the slave patrols. That's why.
Grayson's statement now public. There are many questions that need answers. Sean Grayson said he feared for his life during his encounter with Sonya Massey, the mother of 2 who he fatally shot in her home after she called 911 to report a prowler, according to new documents released by the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. The documents are a compilation of field case reports from various deputies who were called to the scene following the shooting of Massey, who was shot in the head during the July 6th incident. Included in the reports is an account from Grayson, who now faces 3 counts of first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and official misconduct in Massey's death. The former deputy is being held without bond while awaiting trial. A review of Grayson's body camera footage, case report, use of force report, as well as evidence from the unnamed attending deputy who was present during the incident, concluded that Grayson had violated SCSO policies and procedures. The internal investigation, conducted by the Sangamon County Sheriff's Department Division of Professional Standards, found Grayson had violated policy by immediately escalating to deadly force, citing that body camera video shows that the inappropriate escalation of force set in motion a series of events that led to Deputy Grayson shooting the decedent in the head, despite Massey's non-aggressive behavior. The department also found that Grayson did not abide by the sheriff's office standard of conduct after his body camera recorded statements made by him that violated policy, including calling Massey by expletives and saying, "I'm not even going to waste my med stuff then," after bringing his medical kit and not providing aid to Massey.
Sergeant, no. Let's just chill out here. Just search right now.
Are you guys secure?
Yeah, we're secure.
Back cover?
No, it's just her in the house. She's 1096. Is there anything you think we can do for her? No. Alright, I'm not even gonna waste my med stuff then.
He says, I'm not even going to waste my med stuff. So he's not even going to try to help this woman who he just shot in the face 3 times. He doesn't want anyone to help her. He says, I'm not even going to waste my meds. It's not a waste when you're trying to save someone's life that you just took. And if it is a waste, just waste the stuff. We're paying for it. The taxpayers are paying for these medical supplies that the police force have because we're funding them. It's not your medical stuff. It's just some medical stuff. That's not more important than a life. If it's wasted, then it's just wasted. But he doesn't want to waste his medical stuff because he wants her to die. Why? Why does he want her to die? Because he's the devil. That's why.
You want to run down real quick?
Nope, not yet.
Alright. House is cleared. She was the only one.
Where's he going?
No, she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water.
You shot her?
Yeah. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water. That's what all this is. I was standing right here.
Alright.
You shot her? Yeah. Look how he says it. Yeah. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus, and she came at me with boiling water, he just said. Y'all saw the video. Where the hell did she come at him at? She ducked down and grabbed her face and said, I'm sorry. That's not coming at him. She ducked down and said, I'm sorry. Yes, she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Then when he put a gun and put it at her face, she put the water down and ducked down. She didn't have it in her hands anymore, the boiling water, as I said. So how's he coming at her with the boiling water? She came at me with the boiling water after she rebuked me in the name of Jesus. So yeah, I shot her. This is what he's telling all of these white officers. He knows, or he believes he's going to get away with this. He doesn't know that the body camera footage is on, for one. And for two, he's used to doing this sort of stuff. He's used to the police force doing this sort of stuff and getting away with it. You wonder why you can have a whole protest, a whole movement against police brutality, and during the protest, they're still unaliving people. They're still unaliving black people during a months-long protest. And you wonder, well, how can this happen right under our eyes when the whole world is watching? Because we're all protesting worldwide about police brutality after the George Floyd incident, where they brutally unalived him, and all of the protests were going on, and even while the protests were going on, they were still unaliving black men. The police, unarmed black men. It was still making the news. And you say, well, how can this be? With the spotlight on them for this very reason. It's because protests and marches don't do it. If they had done it, it would have worked in the 60s and we wouldn't have to be doing it now. It doesn't work. the only thing that they understand and are going to respond to is the same thing that they're giving us. We love our children too, just like y'all love y'all kids. But they don't see us as human beings. So they think when they unalive a 12-year-old Tamir Rice, that his mother is going to feel nothing. His father is going to feel nothing. Because we are not human. So we don't feel. We don't have feelings. They believe this. I don't give a damn what nobody says. They believe this shit.
And that's where he's landed.
What do y'all need from us?
Just nothing right now. Just hang out there for me. Thank you.
I need prices for the around the house if you guys can. But other than that, that's I think it.
Anything else suspect?
Me.
Look.
I didn't know I
Look
had.
at all these. Look. Look at all these. Where you see a black cop at? Look like a bunch of clans at a black woman's house to eat the kill. He's telling them this, and he's saying, "Yeah, you shot her. Yeah." Look how he said, "Yeah," with a smile, with a smirk, with a giggle. Instead, he's not even going to waste his medication. Why? What gives him the right? What makes him think he can say this sort of stuff and act so callously in front of everyone? Because he knows that his partners, his brethren, his comrades, his partners in crime, that they do the same thing. That they plant drugs on blacks, that they unalive blacks all the time. They shoot at blacks and lie about it. They do all. He knows this. This is just regular program. That's why he's not ashamed of what he just did in front of everyone else. He doesn't have any remorse or guilt because he feels like he's going to get a handshake, a pat on the back from these dudes, from his homeboys, his gang members, because they're just so used to doing this sort of stuff. It's not a surprise.
Yeah, I'm good. It's a bit crazy.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. This fucking bitch is crazy. That's what he just said. Just brutally unalived this woman who has a child, who called the police to her home because she was in fear of a possible intruder. Why does she got to be a fucking bitch is crazy? What did she do wrong? Why is she crazy? Because she's black. She's a black woman, and he doesn't see her humanity. He doesn't see her as a black woman that's lying on the ground bleeding. He sees her as a dog, something less than a dog, because they love their dogs. They kiss them in the mouth. They throw their dog at a funeral and get their dog tattooed on them when their damn dog die. But a black person lying on the ground bleeding, she's a fucking crazy bitch, is what he says. Even though he put her there. No, you're the bitch. You and your whole fucking force, including the black cops that's on there. Fuck them all.
These may look like dentures or partials, but in fact, it's some of the newest dental implant technology.
They're part of the problem, they're part of the system. Look at this shit.
Who's got tape?
I think I got a roll.
I got something coming up.
Grayson also violated the department's policy and procedures for providing medical aid and response when he discouraged his fellow attending deputy from providing aid to Massey, saying,
I'm gonna go get my kit. No, headshot. Yeah, sure, she's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot.
So his partner says, I'm going to go get my kit. And he says, no, it's a headshot, dude. She's done. Once again, he doesn't want to provide any medical attention to this lady, any medical aid to her. Someone is trying to help her, says, I'm going to go get my medical kit. And he says, no, it's a headshot, dude. She's gone. Man, go get the damn kit and let's find out. You don't know for sure. You're not a fucking doctor. She hasn't been pronounced dead. Doesn't want to save this woman's life. can be nothing but the devil.
And letting approximately 3 minutes, 40 seconds go by between the time Massey was shot and when Grayson brought in his medical kit, according to the investigation. Additionally, Grayson was found to be in violation of policy by not having activated his body camera until after shooting Massey, as well as insubordination after refusing to answer questions during his internal affairs interview.
This morning, Sangamon County Sheriff Jack Campbell defending his hiring of Sean Grayson, the deputy charged in the police shooting of Sonya Massey.
There was nothing in his background that would disqualify him from being a police officer in Illinois. In fact, he'd been hired by 5 other agencies, and he'd been certified by the state of Illinois 6 different times to be a police officer.
Insisting that his employment history was not a red flag. In fact, he says it was a plus that Grayson worked at so many agencies in such a short period of time. Campbell, releasing Grayson's personnel records, showing 2 of those past employers, said he did not demonstrate good officer safety skills and needed more training.
There was nothing reported to us that would concern us. There was no use of force complaints and things like that would be something that we would be very concerned about.
The records also show Grayson never informed him of past misconduct, including a time he disobeyed a command during a high-speed chase. When asked about Grayson's 2 DUIs, Campbell dismissing the arrests.
He did nothing in his employment at these agencies that would have raised another flag for people to look at.
Grayson, now charged with first-degree murder for the July 6th shooting, is being held without bond. Massey had called police to report a prowler.
We will continue to follow this story closely and provide updates as we learn more. Thank you for watching Black Discovery.
So there you have it. And I got that from a channel called Black Discovery. By the way, feel like she has some in-depth knowledge on what was going on. Go check her channel out. And you know, what can you say about something like this? As I said, it's upsetting. Seeing my sister brutally unalive by this white supremacist cop. And he is a white supremacist. He is indeed a Klan member, as is most of the police force, as I said. These are not isolated incidents. These are not bad apples in an otherwise commendable institution. This is a racist institution derived from slave patrols, and most of them are bad apples. Most, including the black men and black women who are on these forces. They also uphold white supremacy. Something like what Obama did. Something like what Kamala Harris is going to do. They uphold white supremacy, bro. You have to understand the depths of it to understand what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to get into it. I'm going to have to break this shit down. Unafraid. I'm going to have to break it down. I'm going to have to get the message to my people. I'm going to be careful. This is YouTube. This is the internet. This shit has to come out. And I'm going to get on this dude, Anton Daniels, these pro-police Negroes. I'm sick of them. The Officer Tatum. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. I'm going to get into that. Y'all going to have to check it out, though. I'm going to get into that. Rest in peace to Sonya Massey. Brutally unalive. He's been charged with 3 counts of murder, aggravated assault, and all of this other stuff, as you heard. Being charged is one thing. Being found guilty is another. Tried to falsify documents, said that she shot herself 3 times in the face, huh? What are you lying for? What do you have to hide if you did nothing wrong? If you were just defending yourself against hot water. Then he tells his commander, his higher up, sergeant or whomever that is, that she came at him with the hot water. Where do you guys see that at? Let me know in the comments where you see her coming at him with the hot water. Where was his life in danger? Open fire and brutally unalive this woman in her own home. We can't even call the police in our own homes. We're not even safe in our own homes. Breonna Taylor. We can't even call the police to come and help us from someone potentially hurting us without them coming to hurt us. Why? Why does this continue to happen? I just told you why. That's their job. That's what they're there to do. This is not an accident that this continues to happen. What do we do about it? I have a couple of ideas, people. That's just how I'm going to get that to you without getting banned from YouTube. Rest in peace to Sonya Massey. Next, I'm coming after these Toms who think that her shooting and brutal unaliving was justified by the Ku Klux Klan, the police force also known as the KKK here in America. I say we go eye for an eye. That'll stop it. I'll be back. In the meantime, stay free, people.